Okay guys, I am back with another monthly income report for you. This is how much I made in the month of November. I am so close to hitting my financial goals for my business, so stick around and I'll tell you what's up. Hey guys, it's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. And in this series, we're talking about my self-employed income, expenses, my obstacles, my wins. Let's just get into it and I'll show you how much I made. Okay, so first up is freelancing. I made $3,500 from my freelancing projects, and a new category, semi-new, are sponsorships. Now sponsorships, I made $6,214 this month. Now there was a sponsorship deal that I was doing, so I had kind of a bunch of videos that I've already created, and so now I'm getting paid out for that. So I hadn't invoiced for those sponsored videos before. Now I invoiced for that sponsorship package, which is why sponsorships were just so high this month. Next, digital products brought in $360. This is primarily from my How to Control Your Spending workbook and Budget Bootcamp. If you are interested in either one of those things, they are always linked below in the description box for you to check out. Next, affiliates brought in $834. This is a lot lower than it typically is. Many months I've had over $2,000 in affiliate sales, so could be the time of year, I'm not really sure. It hasn't been a main focus of mine because I've been focusing on the sponsorships. And lastly, YouTube ad revenue brought in $1,955, which is a really awesome. I just love making videos and having that as a source of income. That's really cool. Debt Free Millennials, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing and liking, because that really helps out this channel. So in total for the month of November, I made $12,795 in revenue. Hooray! This is really awesome because I said in my last income report that I needed to make 2 10K months in order to hit my goal of having a $100,000 year. So that means I only need to come up with $8,000 for next month in order to hit that goal. Yes! Okay, even though I had a really big income month, I also had a lot of expenses. So let's hop over into my expense report and I'll show you how much I spent. All right, so this is what the business budget looked like, and you can see everything that was highlighted in bold is stuff that actually I spent money on, and then things that aren't bold here in the actual expense column is just money that I set aside for future expenses, such as conferences, software and equipment, any of my yearly subscriptions I typically set aside money for. So the biggest expenses that I had was that November's always like a big expense month for my business because I have a lot of annual subscriptions that get renewed in the month of November. So I have my video editor expense, using my thumbnail guy. I also had my SiteGround hosting for my website that was due, and I also had Teachable, which I use to host my Budget Bootcamp and my workbook on their platform. So all in total, I had close to $1,700 in expenses for the month. Holy cow. Also, you can see over here that my actual income, what actually hit my checking account for this month, were all the things that I billed last month. So $13,353 is what I actually got into my checking account for that month, minus my expenses, minus my SEP IRA contributions, and then the taxes, you guys. $3,200 this month alone went to federal taxes, and $535 went to state tax. So the after-tax take-home is $6,900. Now, a lot of times I do not pay myself that full amount if I have a big surplus month like I did this month. I don't pay myself the full amount because I like to invest back into my business. So oftentimes I will just set a base take-home of $5,000, and that's what I use to budget with during beers and budgeting. But if I do have these bigger income months, sometimes I will save for like end of the year, just an extra payout as almost like a bonus, but I don't classify it as a bonus. It's just another source of income for me. So I kind of play around with that at the end of the year, but mainly I just stick to my normal salary, and then anything surplus just stays in my business account so I can use it for future expenses or equipment, things that I want to invest in. All right, now let's go over my obstacles and my wins. Okay, one big obstacle, this is very embarrassing, but it happens to everybody. I forgot to pay my business credit card last month. Yeah, which is crazy because I had gone through all of, I think I even showed you guys my expenses and my budget, and I pull all of those numbers from my credit card. So I must have just looked through the credit card statement and then just didn't pay it. So when I went back in December 1st to pay my credit card in full, like I always do, the balance was over $3,000, and I was like, what? Holy cow, this is a lot. Then I saw an interest charge of like $25, and I'm like, what's going on here? Realized I didn't pay it. So what I ended up doing is I called Chase and I said, hey, this is really embarrassing. I forgot to pay my card. I see there's an interest fee. Is there anything you can do about that? You know, I pride myself on paying off my card in full every single month, and this is super awkward. They looked at my account. They're like, yes, we see that you've been a loyal customer with us since 2017. So boom, we will waive those interest fees. So guys, lesson learned, just pay your credit cards in full every single month. Make sure you have that on. And actually, I didn't realize this, but you can turn on an automatic feature to have Chase automatically pay the entire statement balance. Before, it had been turned on to just pay the minimum balance, which is where I got caught with the interest fee charge. So you can turn that on. I turned that on, made sure that I got that all squared away, and I got the interest fees completely waived, which is awesome. You don't know unless you ask, so I highly suggest you ask if you are caught in a similar scenario. All right, another kind of sad thing that happened last month is one of my sponsorship deals didn't end up working out. They just weren't seeing the results on their end, even though I was pushing for them. It didn't work out. So you guys, I lost part of that contract deal. I still got paid out for the ad placement that I did for them, and I also, as a gesture of goodwill, I went ahead and ran another ad in another video just to see if we could push any more signups for them. I was really bummed, so it just didn't work out. Kind of lesson learned, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there are some other things that I could have done differently, but I mean, one thing that I had thought about when they told me they were ending the sponsorship deal with me is that they had requested to do an ad placement once a month. And I thought, I don't know if people are going to recognize that I am continuing to talk about this brand if I only mention it once a month, one video out of the 10 or 12 videos that I do in a month. So I do think I should just stick to my guns and say, hey, actually, this is going to work better on a weekly cadence if we can continue to push the message of this really awesome service that you're providing and add it in as a weekly deal. All right, so let's hop into the wins, because the wins are always the best part. Number one, I'm getting my workbook updated, and I just saw the first draft of it yesterday. I have some comments from my graphic designer. He is amazing. I used to work with him when I worked at Kansas State University, and he's just incredible. And so I'm really loving the changes. I'm doing like a complete overhaul on it. If you already bought the workbook, do not worry, because you get this updated version for free. Anytime I update the workbook, you're always going to get the latest and greatest version, because I simply just replace the old PDF with the new one inside of Teachable. So all you have to do is log back into Teachable and download the newest version. I'm so excited for this. This one should be ready before Christmas, TBD. I also recorded a podcast interview with Jared Orr of the Founders and Mentors podcast. It was so fun. I talked a lot about about entrepreneurship, personal finance, how that all ties in together. He's also a new dad to a little girl, so we had that in common and kind of chit-chatted about that as well. I'm not quite sure when that episode is dropping live, but if you're following me on Instagram, I will definitely be promoting it over there, so make sure you are following Debt Free Millennials over on Instagram, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the Founders and Mentors podcast. I will link to that in the description box below for you to check out. Okay, 2 more things. I signed a new sponsorship deal, so yeah, out with the old one, in with the new one, and I think it's going very well because we are setting up the cadence in a way that I think is going to be very beneficial for me, for them, and for you, because now I'm going to tell you about a really cool product that I think you're going to be interested in. And last but not least, I feel like I mention this every single time, but I hired a full-time nanny, and that is really working out for me, because really this job and what I'm doing for freelancing and sponsorships and videos and content creation, all of those things, I cannot possibly squeeze into just 3 days a week. I really do value having this 5-day-a-week normal work week where I can take my time and strategize, and having a full-time nanny has just been so incredibly wonderful. I'm so appreciative. This is working out. Also, I think I might be deciding to do a co-working space once a week or once every other week, because WeWork had a 50% off coupon to do just like their standard co-working for like $14. I did that yesterday, and oh my gosh, let me tell you, I got so much work done because I didn't have the distraction of hearing Quinn. Even like if she's laughing or crying, like even just hearing that is a distraction. And so being away from home actually really helped me be productive. So I'm testing out another co-working space I had a free coupon for. I'm gonna do that next week. So I think maybe even just adding that in as a business expense, even every other week, once a week, would be amazing, because I think I'm gonna get a lot more done and just feel a little bit more of that balance that I'm looking for. All right, so that's it, folks. That's the full rundown of November's income. I only have 1 more month to hit that $100,000 goal. If you are into these videos, make sure you give this a big thumbs up. Click subscribe if you aren't already part of the DFM fam, and I'll catch you in the next video.